Everything I do is 'cause of you. You make me feel alright. You keep me up all night. Everything I do is 'cause I love you. Have no fear, don't you worry, dear, 'cause it's all because of you.
In this episode, meet two people obsessed with four-wheeled TV stars.
I'm Travis Bell, and I bought this car because TV made me do it.
I'm Dave Bodner, and what I'm about to show you, I did because TV made me do it.
TV has driven these two men to incredible lengths for a car. But has TV steered them in the wrong direction? We invented TV, and now TV is reinventing us. TV teaches us how to aim high.
Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Make friends. Fall in love. And die like a man. You can tell a lot about a person by the car they drive. So what does this car say about this driver? Welcome to Indianapolis, Indiana, the racing capital of the world. It's also home to Travis Bell, a 34-year-old disc jockey, father of two, and founder of the North American General Lee Fan Club.
The standard 1969 Dodge Charger, complete with no air, no power seats, and no cruise control. Alternator gauge doesn't work, the oil pressure gauge doesn't work, the temperature gauge doesn't work, the fuel gauge doesn't work, and nobody ever cares how fast you're going anyhow. You know.
Travis has been driving this replica of the General Lee from the TV series The Dukes of Hazzard since he graduated high school. But his car is about much more than just getting from point A to point B.
Standard Dukes of Hazzard chase scene. I'm going to drive the General Lee. You guys in the police car, you're going to grab it all on film.
In addition to a full-time job and fathering two kids, Travis finds the time to reenact, relive, and reinvent the TV moments that thrilled him as a boy. Only Travis and his friends aren't playing with toy cars anymore, and the cars they're driving are much more than mere cars.
We find some really interesting manifestations of the automobile in TV, and not so much as means of getting from point A to point B, but as characters all their own. The most memorable cars in television history didn't necessarily talk, but they sometimes did. But they certainly had a sense of being a character in the show. The General Lee on the Dukes of Hazzard is this good old boy, Confederate flag-bearing, very aggressive car that can't quite fly, but makes a pretty good effort of it in every episode. It was painted to within an inch of everyone's lives. If a fuzzy dice could become an entire automobile, it would look like the General Lee.
Still, the obnoxiously orange car had a profound impact on an impressionable Travis.
The very first time I saw the Dukes of Hazzard, I was almost 6 years old. I was just about a month shy from being 6 years old. It was Friday the 26th of January, 1979. All of a sudden, I had this big orange flying Dodge Charger. And at that point in time, the magic car that flew it lit my flame at that point. My favorite episode of the Dukes of Hazzard is an episode called Granny Annie. They jumped a moving train, asphalt to asphalt.
The Dukes of Hazzard premiered in 1979 to terrible reviews. But Bo, Luke, and Daisy Duke instantly became household names.
Fine. Let's go try that.
It was probably one of the most incredible television sequences ever filmed.
It's one way to catch a train.
Over 7 seasons of The Dukes of Hazzard, an incredible 321 Dodge Chargers were destroyed to play just one General Lee. Not satisfied with merely owning a replica, Travis devoted himself to finding the very first General Lee.
I mean, why is this car so damn important? It is the first General Lee that made the first jump, the first time they ever tried it.
This idea of having these sacred icons, I think is not an unusual tendency, and to have the General Lee, this is not just a piece of Dukes of Hazzard, that's to have the soul of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh my God.
I thought you'd die laughing.
After months of meticulous research and phone calls, Travis discovered Lee 1 half buried in a Georgia wrecking yard.
Got a 71 on it? Yep. Here it is, Gary. There was not much left, but if someone spray painted all over the Mona Lisa, somebody had to fix it, and I was the guy for the job.
With help from an investor, Travis spent more than a year and $70,000 restoring the Lee 1 to its original glory.
Everything else is a replica. This is the first General Lee. It jumped in the opening credits. There are no others.
Let's face it, this is not just crazy people that do this. The Smithsonian Institution is displaying Archie Bunker's chair and Fonzie's leather jacket and the rest of it. This is a way in which you can actually have a character of your favorite TV show ever and own it and control it.
But even possessing the most iconic TV car in history wasn't enough for Travis.
As a child watching the TV show, your first General Lee was the smaller version. My poor mother had to probably buy me 19 of those small little General Lees. I set them on fire, I destroyed them, poor thing.
Now 34 years old, Travis Bell can't seem to put the toys away.
You can be the biggest fan of the Dukes of Hazzard. You can have every model, every this, that, and other. But what the hell pushes you to do the craziest thing in the world? I played with the toys. I played with the bigger toys.
And now he wanted to play with the real thing.
I wanted to see the General Lee fly.
TV made Travis devote $35,000, a year's salary, to make that dream come true. This is Covington, Georgia, famous for only one reason. This is where the first General Lee was jumped in the very first episode of The Dukes of Hazzard. TV has led Travis Bell, a 34-year-old obsessed General Lee fan, here to make history. He's convinced this small town to let him jump a specially built replica General Lee on their baseball field. If he's successful, it'll be the first time a General Lee has taken to the air since The Dukes of Hazzard ended in 1985.
I didn't realize how many hours were into putting this whole mess together. I hired 9 of the original stuntmen, 3 of the original mechanics. I built a fully roll-caged General Lee, a ramp, a couple of catch cars.
All told, Travis spent $35,000, a year's salary.
Here it comes. Be prepared.
And it all boiled down to just 2 seconds.
The $35,000 question is, why the hell would you spend that kind of money for 2 seconds of airtime? I was the kid that destroyed 19 of those little Hot Wheels cars. It was just time to fulfill a childhood dream. And at 34 years old, I'm running out of childhood dreams. And that magical thing of television will take you back to that part of your childhood that won't let you grow up.
That's a story Dave Bodner of Edmonton, Alberta knows all too well.
I grew up as an only child in a family that was generally very busy. So I watched TV as a kind of diversion and as a way to have vicarious adventures, I suppose. My life was abysmally boring. We depend on TV and movies to give us the excitement and adventure that we shouldn't realistically expect in real life. So kind of vicariously live through television.
If you don't recognize Dave's car, you're not alone. TV has driven Dave to devote his life to the most maligned TV car ever.
But believe it or not, my mother dear decided she'd come back as a car.
TV Guide ranked My Mother the Car the second worst TV show ever made, second only to Jerry Springer. The series starred Jerry Van Dyke as a hapless father who buys a car that's possessed by his dead mother.
Mom, you look just beautiful.
And I feel just beautiful, Davy. Thank you.
It was a pretty bad show. It was a ludicrous concept. Even in a medium that has come up with some really stupid ideas, this has got to be about the stupidest.
Dave Bodner couldn't disagree more. He's the world's biggest and perhaps only fan of My Mother the Car. Dave is single and lives alone in the home he grew up in. He spent the past 23 years devoted to restoring Mother.
It was my total focus. Some people would say I was obsessed with this project, and I suppose I shouldn't argue. Well, if any car should have its own life and a mind of its own, then this should be it. It would be nice to think that the car has some relationship with its owner and its driver, so maybe she's a little bit resentful. I don't know, but I've certainly been in every corner of this car poking my fingers and tools, and I don't know if a car enjoys that sort of thing.
Dave's intimate relationship with Mother began in 1965, the year the series premiered. Dave was just 8 years old.
I could always count on it as a show that could make me laugh. I wanted to be in a family like that. TV families always seem to have more fun than real families.
In 1984, he discovered Mother alive and well and living in California. So he headed south and purchased her for $12,000.
It was just an amazing sight. TV was all about, to me, adventure and exploration, but it was never part of my real life. And this was the first instance where I was actually encountering a piece of one of those TV adventures.
As an only child, Mother came to represent more than just a car.
I always kind of wanted to have brothers and sisters. I liked watching the families on TV. Well, it made me realize that my family was not like the TV families.
Like Dave, Travis's car has come to represent a fantasy that has nothing to do with cars.
Roscoe's dog's name is?
Flash.
And that dog's real name is?
Sally. Or Sandy. Yeah.
Why? They got it from the pound, and you even know that.
Travis is a divorced father of a 12-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. His car has become a potent reminder of another time.
How's Daddy's car go?
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
If you're a child that grew up like I did in the 80s, the Dukes always sat down and ate dinner together, which is something that doesn't happen in this day and age. Between myself and my children, I cannot probably tell you the last time that we all sat at a kitchen table and ate together.
The secret to the car's power to evoke the past lies in the fact that both vehicles haven't aged since Travis and Dave first laid eyes on them.
The thing about a car on television is that you can recreate it exactly as it was, which you can't do with the actors. I mean, if you remember an old TV show, the actors who were in it now look disturbingly old or may even be dead. With a car, the fact that they're inanimate makes them really tempting subjects of nostalgia.
But have Dave and Travis paid a price for living their childhood fantasies? Have their cars consumed more than just time, money, and gasoline? Saturday morning in Indianapolis, Indiana. TV has made 34-year-old Travis Bell devote thousands of dollars and untold hours to his car, the General Lee. It's the same story in Edmonton, Alberta, where Dave Bodner has devoted much of his life to his favorite TV star car, Mother. Driving either one of these cars isn't like driving your average sedan, and the experience has had a profound, albeit different effect on both Dave and Travis.
So driving the General Lee, you have to learn to be extremely patient. You have to learn that every stoplight's a chore, every gas station's a chore, and you have to have the best attitude in the world, or you'll drive the General Lee for about 2 months and hate the damn thing and want to sell it. You ready?
Yep.
Because it gets a lot of frickin' attention. You have to own a General Lee to have a car show at a gas station.
That's right.
Take care. Have fun.
The General Lee oozes Hollywood sex appeal, while Dave's car is the butt of everyone's jokes.
So is your mother still alive?
Mine isn't, no.
So how much do you sell your mum for? No, it's very nice.
My friends at work said, "Oh, Dave, chick magnet."
While Dave has endured ridicule, Travis Bell has paid a different price for his relationship with the General Lee.
Do I enjoy the attention? Do I enjoy having the most highly recognized television car in the world? And I'm a disc jockey here in Indianapolis. Great. A lot of people know me, but I'm also known as the guy that owns a car from the Dukes of Hazzard. I'm not known as Travis Bell, father of two. So the other side of the coin, the other edge of the sword, at what time and at what day does it all get old?
That's a question Dave Bodner also asks himself. What has spending all this time and money on Mother really cost him?
Was it worth it? I don't know. It was a big investment. I don't know what I would have to show for all of those years if I didn't have this car.
Would Dave ever consider giving up Mother? And is Travis finally tired of living vicariously through the General Lee? The past 13 years have been an emotional roller coaster ride for Edmonton native Dave Bodner. TV made him devote all his spare time and money to restore a television car few people have heard of, much less seen. Dave is on his way home to meet Bob Englander, an antique car dealer. He needs to have Mother appraised for insurance purposes. Will finding out how much Mother is worth be all Dave needs to make a change in his life?
This car was originally appraised by Bob at $12,500 Canadian. I would expect him to appraise this somewhere in the $20,000. I don't know exactly. We'll have to see. I don't expect it won't be more than that.
We want to be realistic. If it were to come up for auction, or if you were to decide to sell it, the car has a value of in excess of $25,000. And that's really, basically what someone's prepared to pay for what it's worth. So.
Well,
okay.
Bob, that's really good news. That represents almost double of what it was appraised at when I first brought it here.
Yes.
And I think it does reflect the extent to which I've improved it. Many years of labor.
Well,
labors of love, I have to.
Certainly improved since the last time I appraised it. You've done a lot to it, improved a lot.
But does Dave want to sell Mother?
It gets in the way, and it's sure a burden sometimes. But I think it's worth having. And these things allow us to remember and to talk about matters that otherwise we might forget because we're just preoccupied with our present lives, and there's nothing to remind us of where we came from.
Back in Indianapolis, Travis Bell is also growing weary of living in the shadow of his TV star roommate. But would he ever consider kicking the General Lee out of the garage?
It's your relationship with your childhood with the car in the garage. It's not financial anymore. And now, as my relationship with my 2-year-old son grows, he doesn't really know how cool he is, but he owns one cool-ass car. Watch this, you ready? That's silly. Oh my God. I mean, if you think of all the disastrous things that could happen in one's life, if it came down to, you know, you're gonna lose your house, or you can sell your General Lee and make the money to pay for your house, I promised my car to my son. I'll live in it. Not the house, General Lee.
Should you happen to be on the road in Indianapolis, Indiana, keep an eye in your rearview mirror for a General Lee with a baby seat.
That's so silly.
So remember, buckle up, drive safe, and watch TV.